right path sometimes is hard, and it's built with stone and built with sweat and tears. And you got to do what's right. You got to stand up and stand up to the hardships.
So my name is Yaakov Guttman. Like Rabbi Kirsch said, thank you very much for the introduction. I came to Sinai in 5th grade. Came to the Kushner Sinai school when we were in West Caldwell, before we came to this building. And it was there that I started, quote unquote, my journey. Unfortunately, when I was a kid, I'll give you a little bit of just the background myself. I was born in Bergenfield, New Jersey. Afterwards, when I was at the age of 10, unfortunately, my father passed away. It was right then where I decided that I didn't really care what was going on with school, and I just completely shut down. I was then put into the SINAI program and started going through my education. I'm going to speak to you a little bit more about not so much of what I went through then, about what I went through more later of high school, and then really much later in high school, much part after high school. I went to TABC for my freshman year in high school. Afterwards, I went to MTA, graduated MTA, and then went to Israel. When I was in Israel, I went to the Lev Torah program. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. Who here is in 12th grade? Raise your hands. Okay, so now all you guys are looking into seminaries, looking into yeshiva, seeing what's going on next year, colleges, and so on, right? Who's thinking about going to Israel next year? Raise your hands. Okay, all right. 11th graders, anybody thinking about Israel? Raise your hands. 10th graders, anybody thinking about Israel? Raise hands. 9th graders, anybody thinking about it? You guys are crazy. What are you in 9th grade? Why are you thinking about going to Israel? After my year in Israel, I decided that I was going to go into the Army. It was a long dream of mine, and I decided I was going to go to the Army. Now, most people, when they think about going to a military, going to do something like that, there's a lot of different thoughts that go through your head. It's really dangerous. What are my parents going to say? How am I going to go about that? What am I going to do with it? And I just said, you want to know what? I think I'll be all right. You know, I think it's going to be really cool. I'm going to have a great time, and let's try it out. Now, a big mistake that I did before is that I didn't learn Hebrew before I went into the Army. And that is a really bad idea when everybody around you speaks Hebrew and you don't. Unfortunately, it was a very, very, very hard time for me. I suffered a lot of punishments because I did not understand what was going on, and I got into a lot of trouble because of it. And actually, I'll tell you one of the stories that I did. What happened with me is that they literally, everybody was standing in line, and you know, everybody goes down to push-ups. So okay, so what everyone was doing went down to push-ups, started doing push-ups. Okay, everyone got up, and then everyone got up and stood. I got up and stood. Okay, very nice, right? You don't have to understand anybody, just look and see what's going on. And all of a sudden, they go down back again to push-ups. And okay, fine, going back down to push-ups. Then all of a sudden, everyone gets up and runs a different way. And they're just standing there going like, I don't know what to do. And my sergeant just looks at me and goes like this. I don't understand. I have no idea what you're talking about. And it was going to go take a rock, pick it up, and carry it that way. That was it. I did not understand what was going on. It took me about 6 months to finally get a decent basic Hebrew understanding. And at that point, I was still rated as one of the lowest soldiers in my unit. Just unfortunately due to the fact that I just couldn't understand what was going on. After my training, I graduated top of my class and was asked to go join the sniper unit. At that time, I said I would love to. I did the sniper course. I graduated top of my class as a scout sniper for my unit, as well as then it was asked to go to a sergeant's course. I became a sergeant in the Israeli army. I commanded 24 soldiers that were under my command and took them in through combat. As a sniper, you learn how to stay calm, stay cool, to focus, and to really try to get to your target, to what you have to do. I can tell you 92% of my missions were intelligence. We'd go out to the field, we'd see what's in front of us, we'd see what's going down, and we just relay back information. Other missions were other missions. All of you guys, I'm sure, have played Call of Duty. You guys know what snipers are when they hide in the little buildings and they go run around and everything else, and so on. One of the biggest and greatest, you could say, situations that came up for me was being able to command my soldiers, being in a leader position. A leader in any form, whether it's high school, whether it's basketball team, whether it's in the army, whether it's leading soldiers into combat, you have to be something called in Hebrew, dugma ishi, a personal example. And what that does to you in self, and I didn't even realize it at times, it makes you a better person. And you really start finding how to be better and start having to grow. And it made me to the point where I knew every ballistics of every single weapon that was in my unit. I made sure to go out and see that every single gun at the end of the night was clean, was oiled, and was put away perfectly. And it made me a perfectionist in my field, which would later then send me to be able to do different jobs there and after. After I finished my military service, I went around looking for different jobs. I worked as a plumber, I worked as a personal trainer, and just, try to find myself. And I started working as a fireman. I came back to the States, and I started working as a fireman. And I said, okay, I found what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to help people. My entire life, and my father's Zichron Livracha was a ish chesed, was a man of help and kindness. And I said, okay, I want to take his example, and I want to put it into the world, and I want to make myself something and do something with that. And so this was, I said, look, I'm not the most learned guy. I'm not good with books. I don't sit behind a desk well. And I can use my hands, I can use my body well. I'm a quick thinker, and I can react to intense situations and keep my calm. Firefighting was perfect. I fell in love with it. I went back to Israel. And now, unfortunately, in Israel, in the fire department, it's a very, very, very close brotherhood. Meaning that usually it's a friend, it's a, my father was a firefighter, so I'm a firefighter. It's, my uncle's a firefighter, so he'll get me in and he'll help me out. And it was a very, very close and very, very tight and very hard place to break into. It took me 5 years to break down the door. And you have to remember, I was already a certified and honored firefighter here in the States, and I went to Israel to try to be a fireman. It still took me 5 years. The reason I bring up to you the amount of time that it took me is to explain to you guys that in life, people are going to tell you no. And my entire time that I was in Israel, people can tell me, look, I'm going to forget about it. Don't do that, look, you're a great salesman, go out and do sales. You can really, you did great in the army, maybe go back and do something like that, go into security, try this object, try this, try to be a plumber, try to be here. Firefighting's just not working. They keep sending your resume back, man, you're not going to get it, you're not going to get it, you're not going to get it. And it was from when I was a kid of people telling me that I can't do certain things. It was in the army when people said, hey, you don't know the language, you don't know the society, how are you going to be able to survive, how are you going to be able to do things, that I started building this quote-unquote thick skin and determination to be able to overcome. Now, in life is, and your parents are always going to say to you, hey, if you work hard at school, you'll do well, right? A show of hands, who has heard that saying? All right, apparently a lot of your parents don't tell it to you. I'm joking. Okay? Almost everybody, I'm pretty sure, has heard the saying, if you work hard, you'll do well. I'm here to tell you a little bit of a different story. If you work hard, yes, you can do well. But you will have challenges that will knock you down. You will try, and I guarantee you this will happen to all of you in your life. Okay? You will try. You will do everything possible to get to where you want to go, and you'll fail. And it's just going to leave you hanging dry with nothing to try to hold on to. You're going to feel that the entire world is against you. You're going to feel that nobody cares. You're going to feel that why should I keep doing this? And I can tell you, I sat there 3 years into it. Okay, 3 years into trying to get into the firehouse. I asked myself time and time again, why am I trying to do this? And it took every ounce of effort for myself, for my wife, to be able to get up and try to do it and to succeed my goal and to get the position that I'm at right now. I am right now currently a firefighter in the Tel Aviv area. We have 5 stations throughout Tel Aviv. I'm a level 2 hazmat, hazardous materials certified, as well as a level 1 firefighter, level 3 rescuer. I'm a full certified lifeguard, as well as EMT. I'm trained to go out to literally any call that comes up. I'm a pump man, which means we work the engines. We can pump water from any type of system, which means that we actually have to learn 40 different types of mechanical systems throughout Tel Aviv that we have to pump water through to make sure we can get up to high-rise buildings. Being a fireman is a wonderful job. I know a lot of you guys sometimes see it. You see, on the news, firefighters running to burning buildings, doing this and everything else. The reason that I do it is a couple-fold. Firefighting takes all of my good attributes and strengthens them. Takes all of my negative attributes and strengthens them as well. So for me, it was a real great, because now I just get stronger and stronger and stronger, and I build up and I get better. Another thing is that it really lets me help people. It really lets me go out and help somebody who really, really needs it. And it's a wonderful feeling to be able to go do that. It's a wonderful feeling to be able to see somebody and to carry them out of a burning building. And I'm not joking, I can't remember how many people I've pulled out of burning buildings. To just put them on the side, get them to the medics, get them hooked up to oxygen, let them breathe it out, and just have them say thank you with a big smile on their face. I'm gonna end speaking now for about 2 seconds. And I want you guys to think about questions that you want to ask me. Now, I know all your teachers are around, and I know everyone's around here and everything else, but I want you guys to really feel free to ask me anything you want. You want to ask me how I was as a sniper, you want to ask, where do you live in Israel? How many kids do you have? Whatever you want. You want to ask me my shoe size? It's fine. I don't care. But there is just one note that I want to leave you on. Okay? And I know I've spoken about a couple of things. I've made a little bit of a salad, a salad of different things. But there's one thing I really do want to stress to you, and something I just spoke about right now, is the determination aspect. Okay? Over my life, I have had many, many, many trials and tribulations. I've had many, many times that people have said to me, no. I've had many, many, many times that people have said to me, you can't do this, you're not strong enough, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not this, you're not that, whatever it is. Believe in yourself. If you think something is right, you do the research to make sure that it is right, and you really, really double check yourself, and I really mean this, double check yourself to make sure that the things that you want to do are the right way to go. Don't let anybody tell you no. Thank you so much for your time. Raise the hands. Who's got a question?
Have you ever had to get a call on? Have you ever accepted a call on Shabbos?
So I am a Shomer Shabbat Jew. I'm Shomer Shabbat, Shomer Kashrut.
Did no call something to do that?
So we work on Shabbat. I work Friday and Shabbat. We go in. So the way it works is we work 24 hours on, and we're off for 48 hours. So it's 1 day on, 2 days off. And in my 24 hours, I work from Friday morning till Saturday morning, till Shabbat morning. And Shabbat morning, unfortunately, how do you get home, right? If you drive in. So I've been working on running, and I actually trained myself to run very long distances. I run half marathons. And I run back from Tel Aviv all the way home. I have been at home randomly, not on shift. And I don't know if you guys remember, it's about a year and a half, it was November of 2016. There were 3 days of massive arson, people lighting fires all over Israel. Show of hands. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh wow, good job, you all know what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, so during that time I was on shift for 72 hours straight. And I went right through the entire week working. And it started on Shabbat, they called me in. I went back home for about 25 minutes, and I literally went right back out for 3 days, of working. So yeah, we had. Anybody else? Yeah. What pushed me to go to Israel in my Shana Aleph, out of high school? As a firefighter to stay. So after serving in the military, when I came back, what pushed me to go back? My captain in my reserve unit. I always had a deep belief in Zionism. My grandfather served in the Haganah, and his brothers were in the Etzel and Lehi. Who here ever heard of the King David Hotel bombing? Show of hands. Okay. My great uncle was the milkman, was the guy who put the explosives into the hotel. That's my history. I found a very, very deep connection with Israel. I found a very personal love for it. This is the Jewish homeland. This is where we're meant to be. On top of it, I literally had blood, sweat, and tears put into it. I lost friends in the military, and I really felt that I had to go back. The thing that clicked me and made me go back at that time was I served in a reservist unit, and he called me up and he said, "Look, man, I know you're having a good time in America. I'm sure you're eating a lot of junk food and everything, getting fat. It's time to get back. We got to go to war." And I was like, "Oh my God, we're starting up again. What's going on?" He's like, "No. We got a big training to do. We really got to get back. You got to come. If you're not come back for it, you'll get trained on this. You can't be in the unit." And I said to myself, like, "Oh my God, how can I not be with my guys? How can we not do it?" I set right up. I was like, "Okay, it's time to go back." And that made my decision to come back. God stayed. Yeah.
Being,
Sorry, I can't hear you. Speak up.
What is harder, being a sniper or being a firefighter?
What aspect?
I mean, like the situations you go through, like all those fires or all those shootouts. What do you think's harder?
Okay, that's a legit question. You know, they're two very, very, very intense positions, or jobs, or occupations, if you'd have it. They're different. Sniper, when I was in the military, I was getting shot at, I was being searched for, I was being hunted for. I was in a war scenario with a weapon. I decided to leave that part of my life of being with weapons and being in that type of thing to fire. Now the crazy thing about being a fireman is that fire is a natural cause. It's not a human where you can say, "Hey, look, if you come out, we're going to shoot you." A fire, you can't say anything to it. It's just going to keep going. You know, there's the triangle of fire, right? Does anybody know the triangle of fire? Raise your hands. Yeah? What's a triangle of fire? All right, there we go. It's very, very, and I'm not joking about this. In your house, God forbid, if there is a fire, if you know those three things, you can put out the fire. You don't got to call the fire department. You can make sure you can save anybody in the house. You can take care of yourself. Okay? Knowing the simplest bits of chemistry and physics, you can totally turn a situation around. But back to your question of, you know, which one do I think is different, or which one was harder, right? What was the question? Well, what's harder? They're both too different to be able to really put them on the same scale. You know, physically, sniper. Being in that position, being at that elite athleticism that I had to be at was very, very hard. As a firefighter, we don't have to be at that level. We do have to be at a top level of fitness. But, you know, at a physical level, mentally, it was also much, much harder to be a sniper. But also, it's very hard to be a fireman. Unfortunately, we do have cases where, you know, we show up on people who commit suicide. We do show up on people who get burnt, and we have to pull them out. I have had victims, unfortunately, that I've lost. And they are both very tough, very, very tough positions. I hope that answered your question. Anybody else? Yeah. So we do have a course. Did everybody hear that? Raise their hands. Everybody heard the question? No. Question. Okay. The question was, how hard was it to translate from army to civilian life? Right. For me, it was a huge difference because it was hard for me. I'm sorry, because all of a sudden I had complete order of what I was doing. We woke up at 5 o'clock. We did PT. We came back. We trained for whatever it was till 12. 12, I had lunch. At 1 o'clock, I had sleep till 3 o'clock. From 3 o'clock, I trained for, I trained my guys for the mission we were going out at that night. At, 2 in the morning, we're out at the mission. You know, everything was very, very baseline and set and done, military if you would have it. Civilian life is not like that. You have to build yourself. You have to build your own schedule. And it's very easy, and it happened to me a bunch of times, where all of a sudden I found myself for a week, 3 days, just sitting on my couch playing PlayStation or going over to a friend's house, you know, having a beer and playing PlayStation. And it takes a lot to all of a sudden realize that and to make the change. So it comes down to a lot of, you know, self-discipline and determination to get up and go do what you have to take care of or what you want to do when you continue your life. Anybody else? Yeah? Versus Xbox? Because that's what we had. Look, don't get me wrong, I would rather play, let's say, Halo on Xbox versus I would do Call of Duty on a PS3. But again, we can speak about that later. Yeah?
Are you married?
Excuse me?
Are you married?
Yes, I'm married and have a 1-year-old son. Is there anybody else? Yes. Hold on one second. Guys gotta give respect to each other, okay? It's not for me, I don't care if you speak when I speak, but to respect your other peers. Yes? I did meet my wife in Israel. She is originally from Leeds, England. She made Aliyah when she was 10 with her family, and we met in Israel. Yes. Anybody else? You can ask me about my son, it's also cool. Yeah? Being a sniper is a very, very, very intense and very hard position. You have to get into sniper school, you have to graduate top of your class. On top of that, you have to be a professional. Thank God, being close to both of those things, I got in. Afterwards, where it really started getting hard. Being a sniper is, there are a lot of situations that come up. Unfortunately, when you have to take out a target, you know, you're not just on a board game or on a PlayStation or Xbox, you know, just hitting the B button or hitting R2, right? R2 is playing PS4 and Xbox it's would be the X, right? Thank you.
And don't forget about the VR with VR.
I'm not gonna get that whole. But you know, it's much more intense than that. There's much more feeling, there's more mental acuity that goes into it. We did get trained how to deal with those things, but they still stay with me to this day. You know, and it is a very hard burden to take upon yourself, and it is a very like I had to go to therapy for a while after. You know, like I'm not afraid to say it, and I actually say it with much respect. And admiration for myself. I'm very proud. I had to go to therapy for 6 months afterwards to make sure to take care of myself and I can mentally acclimate then again back to society and not have to deal with the drama that went with it. Is that answer? Anybody else? Yeah. Do you speak fluent Hebrew? Yes. I speak fluent Hebrew.
How long did it take you to reach Europe?
So again, when I got to the Army, it was like really my break-in point. It took me about 6 months to be able to speak. Again, I have very intense dyslexia and ADD, so I read and write horrifically in English. In Hebrew, it's even worse. So I still make mistakes, and I got guys in the firehouse. They all know it's like, all right, Guttman, you know, it's not alachti, it's alachti. You know, there's little tiny things that I still, you know. Zachar and Nekeva, and you know, female and plural, and you know, putting in different tenses. Nope, never took a Hebrew class. I wasn't exactly what we call the best student. You know, I like how you all laughed. You all know what I'm talking about. Great. No, I didn't learn before. I just went in and just grinded my teeth and just, you know, really worked hard, and I still work hard. You know, at home, I have 2 books on my mantle. That's right next to my bed. One's in English, and I can just sit back, relax, and chill. Usually that's a history book just to better my knowledge, to better myself. And the second book is something in Hebrew that's at my level of reading. That's why I try to keep that. Anybody else? Yeah. So now they do, because of people like me that screwed up. In my day, when you went into the Army, you went to the JKHA, which is the induction office, and they said, how's your Hebrew skills? And you know, you go, and not say anything, and they'd go, oh yeah, you're a 5, that's fine. In my head, I'm like -5, but okay. Nowadays, you really do have to, you know, they do check you, they do everything. They have a program called Alon. It's a base in Be'er Sheva, like close to Be'er Sheva, which is in the south of Israel. And on that base, you get an acclimation to the Army. So they explain you what it is to take orders. They explain to you how it is to be in the discipline of the Army. And on top of that, you get an OPON course and you learn. Yeah. Yep, I have dual citizenship. It never affected anything or any decision to go in, to go out, to never give it up. Just, you know, let's become in and out free when I want to. Yeah. Wait, hold on, what's so funny? Don't be embarrassed, you guys, come on. This is free. Sorry, just want to go. Guys, I can't hear her. Yeah? To be a fireman? What motivated me to get there? I always, again, you know, my father, was an ish chesed, was this person of kindness and did out, and he did all of these things and went out to people and always went out to help. I mean, I remember from a kid here before he passed away, I don't have so many memories, unfortunately. I have more memories from what people told me. But I remember there was always people in our house saying, oh, really, thank you so much. You know, oh my God, thank you so much, thank you so much. I remember only later in time, I asked Mom, like, what does Dad do? You know, like, are we in the mafia? Are we doing like special things? We keep saying thank you all the time. Look, whatever you want, I'll pay you back. You know, what's going on? No, he was always helping out people. And I really just felt, you know, in life you're going to see that you have certain gifts and you have certain things that you can do. You know, I will never be a neurosurgeon. I don't have those gifts. That's not where I'm strong at. I don't even know if I can do that. You know, I'm not saying I can, but I don't know if I can. You know, and you play to your strengths. This is something that I felt was, wow, that's me. I can do chesed. I can go out and help people. You know, I can't sit and learn Gemara for 6 hours, but I can go out and help people. And this, trial and error. Trial and error. Remember what I said to you before, right? You're gonna try to do things in life, and you're gonna get shot down. And you're gonna try other things, and you're gonna get broken down. You just gotta keep going at it until you find it. Look, it took me until the age of 28 to realize that I want to be a fireman. Okay? It's 28 years on the planet of going up, boom, up, boom, up, boom. Okay? Just keep going at it.
We go to lunch now.
Don't go to lunch.
I want to thank Yaakov Guttman for coming here today. You can clap again. Yaakov Guttman, I'm sorry. Yaakov ben Israel. There are many takeaways that listening to Yaakov's inspiring story that will remain with me. Perseverance, idealism, giving, memories, legacy of a family. I think your last question about what motivates people to do things is an important one, and trial and error. And every one of these lessons of failures and successes relates to all of us. There is a second and perhaps unspoken message here, and that we need to amplify it from time to time. So first I'd like to welcome Dr. Rothwax is here. Rabbi Dr. Rothwax is the Dean of SINAI. Dean Rothwax Emeritus, who is instrumental in the vision and implementation of the SINAI More programs over the decades. And what is perhaps a subtle message that doesn't really get enough amplification is how important the SINAI More program is to the vibrancy, the vitality, and the culture of the RKYHS High School. And that's because together we seamlessly present and promote that every single life matters, everyone has what to give, and everybody's learning could be different, and the outcomes are all personal based. And having these two schools together help all of us recognize our own talents and the talents of others. Yaakov's story could have easily been different had it not been for responsible, caring people who saw potential and greatness in a young boy of 10 who had checked out. That's what you said. You had checked out. You experienced a trauma, had learning issues, wasn't able to read straight. It's easy just to walk away from those who are not standing up front and making a great positive impression. It takes a little bit more energy, belief, and patience to find what matters and the strengths of every single person. And for that alone, if nothing at all came out of this today, that would be a message for everyone to take away. And Yaakov, we thank you for personifying this, living and demonstrating to all of you and all the 10-year-olds in the school and all the 14-year-olds, those who know what you're going to do in life and those who have no idea what you're going to do in life. You all have a path and you all have a destiny and you have a mission, and it's yours to find it. February 26th on the SINAI website, you'll be able to see the full movie. Enjoy lunch.